Hello everybody, welcome back. For StarCraft 2 action, we have soO going up against the man, the myth, the legend. Nobody hates him, everybody loves him. It's Harstem in another Zerg versus Protoss here in the open bracket for ESL Spring Open bracket 2024. And if you're watching this as it releases, Home Story Cup 25 just finished up, and yes, we will be doing a lot of Home Story Cup games. But the replays haven't dropped yet, so soon, TM, if there's any matches you want to see, leave them in the comments. I mean, leave a comment anyways. That shit doubles the views on any video. Like, one comment? It's crazy. Let's see, we saw Harstem go up against DRG. He showed Storm, and he showed one pretty passive game, going up to a pretty high-tech army, Golden Armada style, and the other game he was rather aggressive, went for an Oracle into Blink Stalker, but like a very aggressive version of that. So he went for no +1, only Blink, still 4 gates, but he skipped an Oracle, so he skipped an Oracle, and he skipped the Forge +1, allowing him to pump out a bunch more Stalkers, and so he had a bigger number of Stalkers earlier, probably chronoed the heck out of Blink, and then he went for an attack on Site Delta, actually. So let's see what Harstem has up his sleeve against soO. I'd imagine that he will do something similar. Oh. There we go. Now we can see how many workers there are. And let's see what soO does. soO played amazing fighting StarCraft versus Bjorn. In a previous cast, that was really fun to watch. If you haven't seen that, treat yourself to a great ZVT. I haven't seen this series, so I can't say if it's better or worse, but the Bjorn games were good. It was very fun to watch. And we see Stargate play come out from Harstem with an Adept that he was chrono boosting. He also made a second Adept. I know it's not showing on the building right now, but that doesn't matter too much. And Harstem did not go for the hatchery block here, or did not manage to get it. So let's see what Harstem gets done here. I imagine this Adept will just kind of chill until the second one arrives. Third base for soO going down. Harstem hasn't spotted that just quite yet, not checking for any drones. I don't know what that Adept was checking for. Speed halfway done, no gas being mined. And we get an Oracle first from Harstem here. Could have been a Void Ray, kind of what Estrella likes doing. Kind of what a lot of ladder Protosses like doing. We have 2 Adepts here. And a third one underway. With the third one, a third base could go down. And usually the Protoss wants to go get his third base right now. We get a gateway to make sure that Speed can't do anything. And the probe moves over to the third base location. So that is what we're going to be seeing. How many lings on the map? Only 8. One Oracle is done. The second one now moving out, or being created. Fourth base goes down for Harstem here. So it's a pretty chill game right now. The Oracle's flying on in. Sees the third base completing. Let's see what he finds. He sees 2 Queens. Creep Tumor going down in the main. Gets a flyby onto 1 drone. Gets 2 drone. So 2 drone kills. That's okay. The Oracle now sits behind. Might come in for a little scout if there's a lair. Use the Revelation spell. And at home, we have a third base. The Adepts nicely tucked into the minerals, so no Ling shenaniganery can happen there. And we see the Twilight console coming out for Harstem again. 2 more gates. Again. No third Oracle. Again. So just like I mentioned before, or earlier, what he did versus soO, or versus DRG, is exactly this. Go for Blink, 4-gate Stalker, and just pump out the Stalkers. We see Blink coming out again. So we have Blink, and 4 gateways and a third base for Harstem, getting extra gases here. And is he going to do that early Stalker push once again here? We'll have to keep an eye on the Stalker count as Blink is starting to finish. We see a lair coming up with a Evolution Chamber plus Roach Warren. So soO might be looking at some Roach play here. I mean, it could still be +1 melee, but I feel like you would make your Evo a little earlier. So, probably looking at +1 roaches with whatever he wants to add on. Could still be Swarm Host, just saying. Oh my god, this run by from the Oracles, taking a couple kills down. 6 drones in total have been killed. Yeah, I don't know why all the add-ons are not working, but hopefully it fixes itself for the next game. And look at this. There's a decent amount of Stalkers. Those 4 gateways are pumping out the Stalkery boys. Now the Forge does go down. So Harstem is going to get that +1 attack most likely. But he wanted to invest all of his money into this amount of Stalkers, and the Stalkers are moving out with the 2 Oracles. It's a little bit of a variation on the, well, previously standard 3 Oracle Stalker push with +1. Now no +1, 2 Oracles, and it hits a little faster. Oracle is, or an Overlord here is going to die for sure, and the pressure is on. The 4th base is in peril, and what can soO do? soO does not have any creep here, does not have enough queens, does not have any Zerglings, so this 4th base going to be getting denied here. That's a very nice result for Harstem, loving that. He's also making a Robo and a Templar Archives, getting charged behind it, and what I said, he is loving the Storm right now, kind of like Shadone is doing. Maybe that's just the Euro ZVP or PVZ right now. Stalker's getting some value here, clicking down the individual roaches, trying to click down some queens, although they have transfused to keep themselves alive. Just a little trade there for Harstem, and preventing any base from going down on that location. Now a new 4th base has started for soO. He's making roaches. He's got quite a few of them. These Stalkers now nicely shaving off Lings, maybe an individual roach. If there is to be an attack, which there are a bunch of Overlords underway, soO could explode into another round of roaches with +1 and try and go for an attack here. We have Zealots being pumped out and Immortals coming out. The first one's already on deck. We have 7 Hydras being added on here. So Roach Hydra, kind of like its Wings of Liberty. We need to see some Corruptors here for a real Wings of Liberty composition. But Roach Hydra into a Lurker Den plus Hive would be very familiar for Harstem, because that is kind of what DRG was also playing around with. 4th base for Harstem going down. 4th base for soO not even completed yet. Now the old, is it a mantra or like, I don't know, what we used to say, that thing, is that Zerg should be up a base, and well, right now, soO's not really up a base. We do see Infestation Pit going down, so a Hive could eventually come along. +1 is done for soO, but +1 is also finishing up here for Harstem. More cannons being built, a second Robo facility. So he sees this Roach Hydra and he's like, oh, that's a mid-game army if I've ever seen one. And I'm teching up to like Storm. I mean, he already has Storm. He has 1 Storm on each High Templar here. Soon to be 2. Well, it's going to be like 20 seconds, but still. And now Hydra Den is going down, plus the Hive, and soO's just putting on some pressure. I would be very, very confused if soO presses here. Maybe he wants to trade off a little bit because he's near max, but maybe he can kind of, like Scarlet usually does with this style, really outmaneuver the opponent. soO has to go back, though, because of the Charge Zealot run-bys, and Harstem does these all game long, and they are super annoying. If you just put a couple spines, he just runs past them, runs into the natural. Wow, this Overlord's still chilling here, giving a lot of vision. How many High Templar are on the field? 5 of them things are on the field. We have 4 of them over here. There should be 1 in the 3rd base. Yes, there is. And the Immortal count is exploding right now. 5 on the field already. 2 more underway. Another Zealot run-by on each corner of the map, ready to go. Trying to abuse the fact that soO is going to be super immobile when all of these 9 Lurkers finish up. These siege units are pretty strong, but they don't have the Unburrow and movement speed upgrade anymore that made them so super potent. We do see Lurker range coming up. We see Crackling upgrade as well, so kind of the Korean Zerg versus Protoss style here. The Roaches, the Hydras going into Lurkers. And one of the run-bys did meet a Roachling run-by here from soO, and soO is maxed out, so he wants to lose a couple of these low-value units in the Roachling on Harstem's side of the map, so he can remax at home. Oh my god, these lurkers getting some value here. Wasn't expecting Harstem to move into them. But Harstem also is getting maxed. He's getting +1 air and 2 Stargates at home. Fleet Beacon already completed. And I would love to see the Tempest come out here. I think Tempests are cool units. And Tempest would do really well here. Harstem has yet to establish a 5th base. soO has established one. Getting a couple spines with these charge slots on both sides of the map. Even an Immortal added in. Just gonna click down this hatchery if they get the chance. And this big techie army here from Harstem. 3 sentries and High Templar. Has to make sure that his High Templar and sentries potentially are all on other hotkeys. Because if you select sentries and stalkers, I think you get the sentries. But you probably want to be able to blink. I don't know, maybe he just control clicks the stalkers. I don't know how he does his army hotkeys. Oh! Blinks into the lurkers. Instantaneously, half of his stalkers just disappear. The zealots charge into the spine roach army and get annihilated here. Also in the natural, but look at how much time this is buying for Harstem, and he's going into the carriers. Now we see double Spire coming out here for Harstem, and that is because soO is very much aware of this transition. The second forge being added on as well. Love that. A mothership is coming. +2 air, +3 ground. Harstem is getting such efficient units on the field. The only thing I want to mention is that, yep, still on 4 bases. And his army is a little bit immobile, using some stasis traps here. That is going to be nice to be able to defend more areas. Because if your opponent wants to run with his whole army to your, like, 4th base, they will get stasised. It slows them down. And so if you are slightly out of position, you can get there. Same purpose as cannons or spines. They're not really there to defend the whole push. They're just there to delay the push. Or at least deny the... make the run by a little slower. Make it do less damage. Yada yada yada. So he's thinking about the 5th, but he's not really getting to it. The probe is taking its sweet-ass time getting there as well. And there he finally comes. We have 3 Carrioren and 3 more underway. This double Spire is done, +1 and a Greater Spire. Now starting Revelation on top of the Roach or Lurkers here. Oh no! All of the High Templar just walk in. Did they just all die? How many were that? 4 High Templar just boom, gone. And, I mean, Kadarian Amulet does not exist anymore, so you have to instantaneously re-warp in those High Templar and just wait. Nice Revelations on the army here from Harstem, and soO banking up the 4K bank, building a bunch of spores and spines. And I would love for him to just start taking all the bases, making more static D and moving the static D forward. Harstem is very immobile, especially with these carriers now being added on. 3 Immortals here, all by their lonesome, trying to defend this 5th base versus Roaches. But this is a lot of Roaches, and oh my god, Harstem's army just moves on in, evaporates a part of that army, force fields, and the burrow, that is cute, but the units are spotted because of an observer, I suppose. Oh yeah, there it is, trailing the army. Probably just clicked onto the mothership. And now Harstem moving out. He got a pretty good trade. Nidus Worm going down in the back there. Harstem is max, so he can't do a lot about that. The probe's not coming off the line. But can soO really do anything? A lot of spores and spines being added on here, but they weren't quite done. How many carriers do we have? 6 carriers, 1 more underway, 15 Corruptors coming out, so soO knows what he wants to remax on. The probes did come off the line, kill the Spine Crawler, no Roaches came out. Actually quite surprising, there's 1 High Templar over there. The 5th base now going down, and Harstem uncontested so far. Trying to take down a base here, and soO, of course, not going to try and press the issue. He's going to wait as long as possible, assemble his forces. Now the Corruptors are here. The Corruptors stack too much, they will get stormed, but they have a decent health pool. So they can get stormed once or twice, but if they get hit by Archons as well from below, it's going to be pretty rough. And we get +1 air armor as well. So interceptors do a lot of damage quickly with, I think they have 2 attacks, and then you have 8 interceptors per carrier. So it's a lot of small attacks that do the damage, which is why +1 attack is so good on them. But armor is also very good against them, which is why we are seeing the +1 armor for air definitely come out here. +2 attack for air also coming out, because you also want to lower the amount of Corruptors you need to one-shot carriers. That's kind of the amount of Corruptors you want. You want a one-shot or two-shot carriers, basically. You yoink them in with the... what's the thing called? Vipers? And then you two-shot the carrier, or one-shot, and then it's done. What do we have here? 6 Broodlords, just like in the DRG game. So you get Broodlords into this army because otherwise you just can't zone out the Archons and the High Templars. Even though you have a bunch of Lurkers, like, he has so many Immortals, and Lurkers don't really shoot up, that the Broodlords are a really good answer to, like, 8 Immortals just walking over here. Although, 8 Immortals and an Observer would kill all of your Lurkers, no problem. And look at that, just what we're talking about. Immortals and an Observer. Very annoying run-by, just clicks your base and kills it. But the Broodlords can deal with it if spotted in time. Broodlords are, of course, still a little slow. Not as slow as back in the day. Little Roach run-by facing up against 7 cannons. Whoop. You have to run by a little further. 6 base going down, and wow. Harstem presses the issue here. Goes for the 4th base of soO. And soO hasn't really been, like, mass expanding, even though Harstem's army hasn't been, like, the most mobile. Because it's been really difficult to keep his bases alive and running. Versus the charge lot run-bys that were done in the mid-game by Harstem. It's really annoying for soO, because he wants to have his army together so he can actually fight the army of Harstem. But then as soon as soO consolidates his army together, Harstem starts running by with like 5 to 10 charge zealots on each side of the map, and you really, really need like 6 spine crawlers at least. Maybe even like 2 Evo chambers and a bunch of spines, although you don't want to fully wall off because then they just run around because of pathing. Now we have Tempest underway. We don't have the Tempest building damage upgrade just yet. But these Tempest... Oh! That Stalker blinks in, making sure that if there are Lurkers, I know about it, and I free up some supply for higher value units. Oh, the Broodlings barely do not get a hit off onto that High Templar. We saw a bunch of feedbacks going down onto the Infestors there, so less fungal on the ground here. Bunch of Ling Roach just doing nothing, yeah, nothing. Immortal Archon, it's a run-by, I guess. Look at that. If there were Lurkers here, they're dead. If there were Broodlords here, this would have been defended. And the Broodlords now trying to get to the other side of the map. Revelation from the Oracle. Just revealing where the entire army of soO is. Look at that. Infestor Broodlord trying to get stuff done, but Harstem just picking him apart, pulling him apart. You need so much supply as the Zerg to deal with these carriers and Storm that any type of run-by like this is just so hard to defend here for soO. Now splitting up his army, leaving 4 Broodlords there, so Harstem really has to commit a decent amount of supply to actually attack this base again. Like, you need a couple Stalkers, but like 8 to 12, or you need 3 Tempest, which Corruptors are pretty fast, and if your Tempests are out of position, then they die. This Observer should kind of be scouted out by now, but it has not been. Look at this Immortal Archon squad, just crazy, annoying for soO to deal with. Whereas the Mothership with the 7 carriers is just being super annoying. We have +1 shields as well, +1 or +3 air attack is on the map, but no air armor yet. I feel like Harstem has the money to start it, but his APM can be used elsewhere now. Going to get a 5th base. He's been on his 4 bases for quite long. So as you can see, the first 3 bases are basically mined out. The 4th base is already starting to become a little poor. And so the 4th and the 5th are really pivotal here for Harstem to continue having income. And continuing to grind out this game. You can look at the resources lost. Harstem has lost less than soO, about 5k. Doesn't mean soO is down and out, but soO not being able to keep his 5th base alive is going to be really rough. soO is in the same boat where his first 3 bases aren't worth much. So getting these bases taken away from him, not getting these corner bases up, making Harstem's super slow army run back and forth there. Maybe Nidus or Nideye on both sides, just to keep those bases alive versus Charge Zealot run-bys could be really strong. Nexus in front, making sure that he maybe can do a recall, but also just has a lot of HP, can tank for the Broodlings and any ground army. But I like this Nexus. You can put shield batteries and then you have shield battery overcharge. Now we do get the Tempest building attack upgrade. We get +2 armor for ground and +2 shields for all Protoss units. And this has been a slow, methodical game. Look at these Harstem units. These Immortals trying to find some value. Almost get a Lurker. Now these Lurkers do manage to kill the Archon. Another Revelation goes down. This is a lot of Spore Crawlers. How many Spores do we have? 19 Spore Crawlers on the map. But we also have 26 cannons and 9 batteries. Harstem just slow pushing forward. I remember a game versus Serral on Alcyone. Or Alcyone, as some people say. That's what the cool kids say. He slowly crept forward into Serral's territory and made a real game out of it. He did the same Nexus shield battery cannon pushing. And I wouldn't really hate, yeah, Harstem just taking more bases here. Especially if he takes this area. These 2 bases are just, well, free or at least defended. And I don't know if soO can really deal with that. This Roach spots a Zealot, but the Zealot does not care. My god, soO has a bank, but he has almost no income. His 4th base is dry. His 3rd base or 5th base is also not healthy anymore. Harstem just makes more shield batteries. The grind game, as they say in Yu-Gi-Oh, has started, and Harstem is definitely the one with the stronger grind game right now, because he just has more resources and can recoup way more units after taking damage. And these Spores are all alone. These Tempest shots are so loud. Oh, the Oracles do not get a Revelation. Boom, 1 Overseer does go down there. And this is what a lot of the game is going to boil down to. Who can trade better? Tempest just takes 1 shot at a time. Kill 1 building at a time. And eventually you will kill your opponent. Slow and steady. Oh my god, Neural Parasites coming down from soO here, trying to target down the mothership or the carriers. Was targeting the carriers, but the Infestors got found out. They got revelated. The Broodlords trying to go in here. Oh, they catch a lot of the High Templar, but the Cloak here, we have some Overseers, so the Cloak's not doing anything. The Corruptors now targeting down the carriers. Not a lot of Storm. We do have the High Templar here in front. A lot of shield batteries try to keep them alive, so it's very important that soO targets down the High Templar with these Broodlords. Just click them down. And oh my god, that's so many Corruptors. We have 31 Corruptors. They can one-shot the carriers all right. And boom, 1 Tempest down. Boom, 1 carrier down. These Corruptors are evening the playing field here, and we still have some Lurkers and Broodlords making sure that Harstem can't push through here. Bunch of Stalkers actually warping in. Surprised that it's slow warp-ins because it's decently close to the Nexus. Still have 1 High Templar here that is not being brought with the army, and this is a difficult position here for soO because Harstem can just leverage all of his warp gates now. How many does he have on the map? Only 9. So it could have been like 16, honestly. So they can make 16 Stalkers at a time. Decent fungal there. The Lurkers are done. We have 8 more Broodlords coming in. That's a lot of Broods. And these Stalkers want to do some damage. 3 Tempests are underway, so only 1 carrier still in the sky. And these Tempests are just for the grind game. He wants to have these Tempests just shoot at a building. Oh, that just more Zealots. sacrificing themselves for the cause. Harstem still hella rich. These Immortals were pumped out of the Robo. They are rallied to that Archon, but now soO smells blood in the water. He's like, I just saw your army top. I'm gonna kill this position bottom. Because he knows that this is a lot of resources of Harstem that can just get killed. Oh my god, these Tempests just get gone on by the Corruptors. They don't care. Good catch there by soO. And I feel like soO has been really trading efficiently here. And he has been. Harstem now lost more resources than soO. And I feel like Harstem can do that. He can be a little bit more inefficient. Oh my god, the blink in onto the Broodlords here. Is soO out of position? Or is it a bait? Nice Fungals coming down on the army, slowing down the advance of the Protoss. There is an Observer here, so the Lurker's going down right away. Blinks in from Harstem on top of the Broodlords. 5 more Broodlords. They are just shelling away with their babies, throwing the Broodlings in. Now we have a lot of Corruptors left in the sky, and there's nothing left to hit for soO. He's not making anything. He has so much money. Where are your larvae? He has larvae. He's just not making anything. He doesn't know what he wants to make. More Broodlords it is. I guess, wow, the restraint from soO. Honestly, it was like, are you gonna attack? Then I need to make Roaches and Hydras. But if you're gonna, you know, do nothing, I can make a round of Broodlords. Dude, I think anybody would have just reinforced there with like 25 Hydras. And you're probably sad shortly after. Instead, we have a bunch of Broodlords here ready to defend. We have 5 more Tempest on the map. Do have some Hydra backup. I like Broodlord Hydra. Couple Vipers in there perchance. And this 5th base, I mean, it's almost mined out. Is it really worth it for soO? soO just needs a new base. Look at his money. Look at his supply. He needs a new base. And that is kind of how I feel like soO is going to lose this game. Like, he won the last 2 fights, but Harstem is just winning the war of attrition. He has way more money than this guy. He's like XQCing on all of us. Or Bill Gatesing for the boomers, or he's the Jeff Bezos in this fight. Like, he'll just lawyer up for anything. You can't win. As a normal person, you can't win. Oh my god, soO's going for the final push. He's like, I don't have anything, I don't have money, but I do have a decent army. 120 supply for soO. Only 7 drones. I now just notice he is giga all in. Storms shelling down onto soO's army there. The Broodlords are going uncontested, but if the Tempests survive, those Broodlords will fall in the end. 2 hatcheries are going down now, but there's just no drones. There's no drones. Where are they? Long distance mining to that first base. And Harstem just chilling. Look at his money. He's just chilling. Making a couple Zealots. Probably just for tanking purposes. This Nexus, you can have it, buddy. Just kill it. And soO, GG's out, sees that the writing is on the wall. He knows that there's a bunch of Tempest. And Harstem grinds out soO in this game number 1. And here we are back for this best of 3 between Harstem and soO. Harstem just took game number 1 in a grindfest of a game, but he identified his win condition and he played the map so well. I hadn't seen somebody like put that choke point under control like Harstem did with the Nexus and the Shoe Battery. Basically securing 3 of the left bases, immediately splitting the map in half for himself in a pretty easy fashion. And soO just could not contest it. The charge slot run-bys, the Immortal Archon run-bys were just too much for soO to handle. And Harstem, it took a few turns, it took a few minutes, but he got a pretty clean win there. Again with the Storm. And I like that he showed the same same strategy on the same map that he used versus DRG. And spoiler, he won versus both soO and DRG. Now, before the action kicks off, be sure, yes, I'm gonna say it, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment at the video, it helps a lot. I appreciate it. Anytime that my videos get a little bit of interaction, as they say, you get a like, you get a comment, like the views just kind of double for each of them. And for a small channel, you know, that means a lot. Feels good. Cybercore going down for Harstem, and what is he planning on? Oceanborn. I think we did see him play this versus DRG as well, if I'm not mistaken, but it was the first game. But it might have been Alcyone, but I think it might have been Oceanborn, actually. Yeah. Okay, I'm just saying it was Oceanborn. And he went for the 3 bases. And then slowly went up to 4, and he was like 160 supply on 3 base. I'm pretty sure it was Oceanborn. Now, in my heart, this is still pretty much a Protoss map, but I have to admit that taking this 4th base is a little annoying, and this 5th is kind of impossible, and this 5th is also really annoying. So if you're willing to play slow and steady, you can do it. But if your opponent likes attacking into you when you have 4 bases, it's gonna be a little rough. We see another Stargate coming out from Harstem, and soO getting his speed once again, getting his 3rd base, not mining any gas, so soO looks to be just going for another macro-type play. But that could still change when the Fire Nation attacks. Or, I mean, Harstem, I guess. Alright, it still remains to be seen who's really the Fire Nation in this series. These Adepts looking at these drones real horny-like. And they do get 1 kill on a Zergling. I mean, it's better than nothing. They get a drone count as well. Too bad they didn't get a double shot on the drones. Didn't manage to find the same drone that was already damaged either. And 2nd gateway going down, Oracle coming out, and a 3rd base again for Harstem. And 3 Adepts going to make a Stalker now. So, oh, the Lynx came to party on the other side of the map, but the Oracle was present. And Harstem was paying attention. The 3rd base is done. The Adepts are here. Maybe this probe falls, but nope. No way, Jose. And Harstem just kind of looks like he wants to do the same build as he showed in game number 1. But that is yet to be seen. We saw the 2nd Oracle complete, and now he's going for a 3rd one. So it's not going to be the same 2 Oracle Stalker push. Might still be something similar. And from soO, we see an Evo Chamber here in the back, combined with new gas mining. Throwing it down around 40 to 50 gas means you have enough gas for +1 melee when it finishes if you have 1 gas. It's a little tip for you guys. In mostly ZVZ, I use it, but it's also pretty good in ZVP. There he goes, gets his +1 attack, so around 50 gas. From 1 gas, put down the Evo Chamber, and it will line up really nicely. And we have a Twilight Console, but also a Robo coming out from Harstem, so a little earlier Robo than usually. Let's see what this is going to be. We already see 4 Adepts, so I'm thinking Glaives, but I also see +1 attack. Doesn't really do anything for your Glaives, but if you have like 2 more rounds of Adepts here, which, ooh, we do see them coming. I don't think he's going to go Resonant Glaives at all. Yeah, he's going to go across the map with these Adepts right away. soO does not see them. Oh, soO. He's going to see them now, though. Is he? He does see them. And we see no units on the production tab. Now we see a couple links coming out. soO supply blocked, making a Spore as well. And we have a bunch of Queens here. Not a super high amount of Zerglings. So these Adepts trying to shade in. They do not complete their shade. Would have actually been a-okay, but trying to force this. 16 links coming out. Now we can just move back. There is no Resonating Glaive investment. Actually going for charge slots and +1. Those are going to be shredding Zerglings. So really nice force here by Harstem and not losing the Adepts for anything. Nice poke and prod, and this is a lot of Zerglings for soO. Those are not drones. soO's drone count is still okay. 4th base is down, and he's getting +1. So I hope we're going to see a Baneling Nest and Baneling Speed rather soon, because there's going to be a bunch of zombies, I mean Zealots, running at him at some point. The Lynx trying to find some value. +1 not quite done, but he gets a decent surround. Adept at 2 health. And, oh, nice round on the Zealot as well. Gets a couple value trades there from soO. That's nice. He has, ooh, even making more links. She's kind of like hoping that Harstem moves out here to try and push him away to get a fourth. And then soO just has slightly too many links. This is also what you do against Phoenix play, right? You just make a shit ton of links with +1 and you just deny any attempt at a fourth base. Even a third base can fall. One Archon is being built here, and Archon, of course, pretty good against Zerg links. We see Storm coming up from Harstem again. And we see a Phoenix being built here. Casual Phoenix is not bad. Can kill Overlords like this. Revelation here. We have a Hydra Den and a Baneling Nest for soO. No second upgrade yet. What's up with that? Love to see +2 come up, or +1 range even. Sure, it will start soon-ish. And Harstem now gets his fourth base up. Gateway is going down. Shield Battery and Cannon really reinforcing his fourth base here. And again, Harstem kind of slow and steady here. Not exploding in the gateway count, although 8 gateways is pretty good. It's more the gateway unit count. Because if you make more gateways instead of, let's say, Zealots, you have a lot of potential warp-ins, but you don't have a lot of Zealots. But 8 gateways later on can make a lot more Zealots than 4 gateways, for example. So investing into your gateways earlier, so you can make more units later over the rest of the game, is of course giga worth, and that's kind of what we're seeing here from Harstem. Not really doing giant warp-ins, focusing on high-value units like Archons, High Templar, Immortals, and aside from those early Adepts, and now these +1 Charge Zealots, which these guys murder Zerglings. We now see +2 melee, but no second Evo with +1 armor to help these Zealots not two-shot lings. Basically, Zealots with +1, two-shot lings that don't have melee armor upgrades. So since there's no Carapace upgrade, Harstem's run-bys are super annoying. Because even though soO's playing like a pretty mobile style with the lings, Bane Hydra, Ling Bane Hydra, what? Oh my god, no way! These Hydras getting caught? Don't get killed, but that was still a pretty good catch there by Harstem. Now runs away, buys a lot of time for himself. You see the supply is favoring soO a lot, so any second that goes by helps Harstem get maxed out on all of these very, very expensive high-value units. 4 Immortals, 4 Archons right now, and oh, big Stasis Trap catches those lings, but Harstem doesn't really get the surround on them. Oh god, that's a lot of Banelings. I don't know if it's so many, but 28 were built, 24 more in production. That's a lot. And Harstem is not maxed. 35 more underway. He's even starting a Fleet Beacon and +1 air. He's not prepared to hold this attack here from soO. And look at the Bane just roly-polying on into the army and the mineral line, trying to just tank up for the rest of the army. The Hydra's behind, doing a lot of DPS. And that's so good about the Banelings. They just roll in, all these units waste shots on them, and then they still explode and do their damage. It's that one StarCraft thing where a unit with 1 HP still does 100% damage, which is a thing I heard Grubby say about Warcraft 3 units as well. And I think that's very apt. An apt way of thinking about the game. You have some games where units become weaker when they have less HP, but that's not true in StarCraft, and that's why pullback micro on your like roaches or your stalkers, etc. is just so good, because they keep doing full damage. Baneling run-bys in both bases. Storm catches one, and the cannons catch the other. soO is investing a lot of resources here. We've already seen 50 Banelings go down, more of them underway. We see a Spire, +3 melee, and Adrenal, +2 range as well, so the double Evo is going strong. Where's that second one? There it is. I'm so surprised when people have just 2 Evos spread around their bases, but I guess those are people that actually hotkey their Evos. I don't know, I'm more of a person that uses their camera hotkey, right? Then I'm like looking at the fight, and then I go like F2 or F1, I don't care. Then boom, get to my main, and then I see 2 Evos, and I'm like, oh, right, they're not upgrading, and I just select them, boom, boom, and then I go on with my day. It's not really a thing I time out, it's just every time I inject, I see my Evos, so you kind of know where you're upgrades are at, and then you just make the conscious decision of starting more. A couple zealots here again. Harstem with the charge slot run-bys. These boys are so annoying. No carapace for the Zerglings, but I guess +2 is already done, so it doesn't matter anyways. But if you just have more Zerglings and Adrenal Glands, then suddenly the turns have tabled. Adrenal Glands Lings kind of win out versus Charge Zealots. Even on even upgrades and even surface area. So if they are both in a choke, Cracklings actually win versus Charge Zealots if both are fully upgraded. It's actually crazy. I remember watching a stream with Moro. I don't know if you remember that guy. He switched to Protoss, I think, in Legacy at some point. And he tested it out on that super close map where you're super close together. Arena, I think it's called. Does somebody remember Arena? Oh, I remember. Like, that map was not fun because Adepts were just out and they would just shade into your base and you would just lose because you had not played versus Adepts before. So they would just shade back and forth and kill all your drones. And you would go like 12 pool, right? Because it's so close by. And they would still win. You would still not have enough Zerglings or whatever. You would like go wall in on 2 base versus Adepts because Adepts were just too good. Oh, the Corruptors here. Find a War Prism. I don't know what was in there. But it might have been 2 Archons because 2 Archons have died. No. We're 2 random units. So probably 2 Adepts that just needed to die anyways. Might have been 2 Zealots as well. I was thinking maybe it were High Templar. Maybe it was a Stormwrath, but it was not. And we find ourselves again in one of these late game situations where soO is looking a lot more healthy. Playing a lot more of a mobile style with a lot of Banes and Hydras. Not with the Roach Lurker stuff. A lot more Banelings coming up. Oh my god, dude. That's a flex, alright. It's a money flex. If you make 100,000 Banelings, they are not cost efficient, but goddamn do they do a lot of damage. So if you just pump 40 Banelings into his army and then remax, apparently on Ultra Ling, you will kill a slow Protoss army before it kills your bases. And that is why you want to trade with the Banelings on Harstem's side of the map, preferably away from the cannons and the Shub. Oh my god, so many cannons. Harstem is so prepared to dig in his heels. No 5th base for Harstem for such a long time. This creep is crazy. soO is showing us his class is permanent. And his form is also pretty good. Holy moly, the Corruptor's taking down the small amount of carriers that were on the map. I do like the 4 carrier commitment. I love that so much. When you make a couple carriers, the Zerg is already tilted. So tilted. They're like, oh my god, he has carriers, and then you make like 40 Corruptors, and then you have like 8 Archons and a bunch of Blinkstalkers and Storm and Immortals, and you're like, I have 4 carriers, I don't care about those. You can have your 40 Corruptors. I will not even storm them, I don't care. The carriers are a bait. I'm trying to bait the Ash. Or the carriers. Or the Corruptors in this sense. Anabolic Synthesis, so that's the Ultralisk speed upgrade. You can see the small white lines behind them. Anime-style Ultralisks are a little faster. I think it's only off of creep, but still, Ultra Speed is really good. Makes them like almost real units, because they can actually catch up to stuff. Together with Lings and maybe a cheeky Infestor or 2. Oh my god, are they dangerous. And remember, Ultras do bonus damage to buildings, so getting an Ultralisk run-by on the field is really scary, but soO is now in the same position that Harstem was in the first game, where he doesn't really have to kill him. He just has to make sure that getting a 5th base is too expensive. And that whenever he gets it, it just gets killed again, or the 4th base gets killed. Poor Harstem is just stuck on 4 bases. He has a pretty sizable army, but it's been shaved away at time and time again, and soO, as his side of the map, could start taking his opponent's side of the map as well. Really make sure that in the super late game, or even the end game, he is up at least 1 base, and then it's the old adage of when you steal something from your opponent, They lose it and you gain it, which makes it double good. If I lose 100 minerals because you stole it, that makes it 200 difference between us. Which is why stealing stuff from your opponent in games is always so good. Like a Dark Archon stealing a Broodlord means -1 Broodlord for you, +1 Broodlord for me, is a 2 Broodlord difference. If it's an Ultra, that's a 12 supply difference. I lose 12 or 6 supply, you gain 12 supply if you are the one mind controlling my unit. That's why Neural Parasite, in theory, is pretty good as well. I think Infestors are only 2 supply. And they can still use other spells after if they have more energy. Although I think they nerfed that, right? I think their max energy is lower nowadays. To kind of compensate for them starting with 75 energy, which I think was the greatest change ever. It just made casual Infestor play so much more prevalent, and it's very fun. Because the Infestor isn't like the boring lock your opponent up for the entire game unit anymore. Another charge slot run by here on the right. We already saw one on the left, or the other way around. You get what I'm saying. Ultralisk Ling, though, pretty good at dealing with these charge slot run bys. A lot better than the Roach Lurker from last game. And soO. I mean, I'm surprised he's taking it so slowly. I'm surprised he's letting Harstem kind of build up on his 5th base, and Harstem now approaching a max. That is pretty scary. +3 air, +2 shields, +2 air, +3 ground. Sorry, misspoke. How many High Templar? 7 High Templar. Juiced up to the gills. They got the juice all right. Yes, I'm making references to every video game that I play or follow. Dota, Yu-Gi-Oh! Anything. Oh my god, and look at that soO just prioritizing the fact that this 5th base needs to die, and now his army comes back. So his prioritization was very clear. Now the storms go down, the queens don't get a lot of transfuses off, but these Broodlords, there's no vision actually. Oh my god, these Broodlords are gonna die. These Ultralisks could have run towards any base really to do some damage, but instead they choose to live. And what is the Remax? 100 Lings on the Remax. Would love to see like a bunch more hatcheries just around to make sure that you have larvae. But right now, that's not a good investment. You want to do that like 5 minutes ago. Or 3. Look at that. Ling Bane Ultralisk into a mostly Stalker army. And now Harstem is in the same position as soO was last game. He just needs to go because he does not have money anymore. He does not have a 5th base. Never really had a 5th base. A lot of storms are going down, but these Ultralisks are nomming onto the army. Now the Ultralisks and the Banelings almost get on top of the High Templar. And the first wave has been dealt with by Harstem. How many Immortals are left? 8 Immortals. But soO don't care. 8 Ultralisks more. That's what we need to deal with this army. And I think as soon as the High Templar fall, the overwhelming amount of Zerglings that will come out of soO's base will just end him. As you can see, still no 5th base for Harstem. Long distance mining with the probes. And now he's even clicking down the Ultralisk cavern. Even though he has Immortals. He knows that, like, a bajillion Ultralisks still kill him. 6 Ultralisks underway. And this kind of looks like the last game, but in reverse, where Harstem was just not caring about the bases dying, was just making more and more Tempest. And then eventually, when all the Tempests were built, soO saw them and he GG'd out. Wow, soO loses almost 1 Ultralisk there, 16 health, all planned. A DT comes in, one behind Dark Shrine, still holds true. So this base is gonna go down, or at least the drones have to evacuate. And soO slowly but surely remaxing here on the Ultra Ling. And he's looking for reinforcements here. Dude, these guys are playing crazy games. And I feel like soO has this one in the bag. If you look at the supply, it never lie. I loved seeing Todd back at the Home Zerg Cup as well. Good to see our boy. How many? 11 Ultralisks on the map. A couple drones die again, but still 60 drones on the map. 23 have died, and Harstem gets to take down a bunch of these bases. But no 5th base for Mr. Harstem. He literally just is as broke as a joke. He has as much money as I have made from YouTube. Exactly nothing. This Dark Templar, though. He's got Harstem on his back. He's like, I got you, boss. Maybe not this game, but next game. Put me in, coach. Put me in. 1 DT rush is all you need. We have 1 High Templar still here. Maybe Harstem has forgotten about that. This is a good moment to just F2 all of your units into one big clump, because it's going to be one big last fight here for Harstem going up against soO. And soO still has a decent amount of money. I'm surprised he's just not getting any infestors. I guess it doesn't do that much versus anything if you don't have Neural. I don't know if Neural still works on Mothership. I think it does. And then, I mean, if you just waste Time Warp on him, it's all Ogre. It's all Ogre. Oh, it's a cooldown nowadays, huh? I guess you just spam all your abilities right away. Can you recall your Banelings into the opponent's army? I think you can. So, Neural the Mothership into recalling 50 Banelings on top of your opponent's army. That is the most efficient way to win there. It's kind of like an evenly matched. Just straight up killing your opponent for trying to play the game. Just yoink! 1 action, and you dead. Banish everything face down to the Shadow Realm. Dude, I love soO. Just snaking around. Sneaky. Just putting all of his units away from this Death Ball. This OP Protoss Ball. Great song from Viva La Dirt League. Should look it up. They still make skits nowadays. Not about StarCraft, sadly, but, you know. Still good skits. soO, I'm so surprised he's not just maxing out on anything. Just sitting here on 150 supply with money in the bank. This guy is very how do you say? He restrains himself from overbuilding units. Panic building units, basically. Which, you know, you and I probably would. You know, I have money. I see my opponent standing on my base. I want units. But soO, he knows. No 5th base. This is literally all there's going to be. Like, he might make a couple more units, right? There's 1 more Immortal coming out. We have 14 on the map right now. There's more coming in. Dude, I'm starting to believe, oh, this Immortal is giga dead. So, 13 Immortals now. But 1 just completed, so it's still 14? Yep, still 14. Look at that. Ultras and Lings deny this base again. 15 more drones died. Both players, 32 workers. But soO is actually mining. Whereas Harstem, I mean, I guess you could call this mining, but generally we call it mining when you actually have a finished base here, you know? And you could call this not that long distance, but it's pretty far. Not that efficient. I can tell you that much. There's a reason why we put our probes from 16 to 24. Where, is there a base? Yeah, this one, where it says until 16. If you go over 16, that's better than long distance mining to the next base, up until 24 drones. If you go over 24, you're better off long distance mining. Because 16 is optimal. You know, a drone per income, or income per drone, I think, optimizes that. Oh, we actually get the infestors with the fungal. And now, big surround from soO. Oh my god, the maneuvering paying off here. And that was just a big, well, not a sucker punch, just a wave of Zerg, a tsunami of Zerg, washing over Harstem's army there. All the cleave damage from the Ultralisks taking down Harstem, and soO takes game number 2. We're going in for an epic 3rd game. And we're here for game number 3. soO going up against Harstem, and these guys have the same game plan in this matchup. Just with different units, but still. They try to limit their opponent's 4th and 5th expansion. And then just starve them out of the map. So really more of a macro strategy. It's not about this one attack, getting the good angle, hitting the timing, having the upgrades. No, it's about the money on the map. It's about the money in your bank account. It's about your units being more efficient over time. It's about him not having any more money to make an army at all. And that's the type of Zerg versus Protoss we are watching here. And I think it's pretty cool, pretty refreshing. Sometimes it's nice to see one of these, like, stalker pushes that is just all about doing damage. And if you don't do damage, the game is over. And that's fun to watch because there's a lot of minute details, a lot of micro, and everything is on the line. But sometimes it's a little too binary. It's a little like, yep, he's either gonna win or he's not. This is gonna work or it's not. And that is not what these guys are playing, or at least that's not what they've shown so far. Stargate again for Harstem with the Chronoed out Adept. So just doing the opener that we've seen from him so far. Let's see what Harstem has seen. Does see the natural base, does not see a third base yet. And soO has not attempted to take one yet. Not taking the gold base either. Ooh, there goes the drone. It's not a late third by any means, but the probe is not going to see it. Now the Adept comes in, and he's going to confirm that, yes, there is a third base. I don't have to check the gold bases anymore. There you go. Sees that base. We see an Oracle coming out of this Stargate in the future. This one Adept is just scouting around. Second Adept is on its way across the map, and a third one is coming up. These are the Lings. The Lings actually get in this time around, so we haven't seen soO do that just yet. Just getting a scout, actually getting a probe kill. Probe. I know how to pronounce it, I swear. And we had one Oracle finish up. It's going across the map. These Lings still in the main base of Harstem, being annoying. And second Oracle is starting up. Now we have speed of soO. Oh my god. The APM, yes. 2 probes do go down there. That's a total of 3, I think. Nope, 2. Okay. I thought he got killed 2 in the main, but it was only 1. So good response by Harstem, and the 2 queens try to protect his mineral line. This Oracle only gets 1 kill this time around. Got 2 in the Oceanborn game. Or no, in the Site Delta game. I think. And Harstem again, just safe with the 3 Adepts. Lings can't really do anything. We have 2 Oracles on the map. Oh, this Oracle comes in, sees a Spore Crawler, sees no extra drones. 5 extra drones are on their way. More spores are being created. And we have a Twilight Console. No Forge, no Robo just yet. So this is looking to be that same build we saw in game number 1 on Site Delta from Harstem. We're going to see. I'm expecting a Stalker to come out for that soonish. But this might also just be like Glaives or whatever. Oh, he's going for... Nope, not charge. Going for Blink. Boom. First Stalker comes out. And... oh, this Adept actually gets caught. Nice pick off by soO. Dude, these ninjas... snipes on the Zergling. Very nice. And we have another +1 build from soO. So we liked what he did last game. But now he's doing it into a different build from Harstem. Doing it into the Blink Stalker build from Harstem. Getting Forge now. So yes, this looks a lot like that same build from Harstem. Just getting a bunch of Stalkers. +1 will start as soon as he moves out. And wow. Oh, I was about to say, like, he moves out real early. If those move out already... oh, these queens! They take down the first Oracle. That's kind of bad for the push. You want to have both of them because these Oracles are super good at dealing with the Zerglings. We do get a kill on a drone there that was trying to mine out this mineral patch. 4th hatch has been scouted as well. And can Harstem go there? I guess he can blink over the minerals here and get a pretty nice, like, angle off of creep to try and do something there. Gets on top of the Xel'Naga. No Ling hidden there. And with the Oracle, you would see it, of course. And now, Stalkers are in the front, trying to get some damage done, trying to be efficient. Making Shubari at the third base. We even have a sentry here. This one Adept is on hold position. What a god. Good job. So we have attacks on both sides. These Stalkers trying to be efficient. Immediate recall after a panic blink. And he recalls to the third base, sees the amount of Lings that are knocking on his door. And he's like, okay, I just want to go back. This one Stalker did save himself with a blink. Now trying to stay out of harm's way here. This one is actually going to survive? Question mark? 9 drones on the way. soO a little down on the probe count, or the worker count. Sacrifice a little bit of economy to pump out these Zerglings, and he looks at the 4th base location, doesn't find it, doesn't check the minerals either. That could have given him slightly more information. Another pack of links here at another 4th base. So soO really playing at just canceling a 4th base, trying to get some damage, and that would be pretty nice. Moving these links into the wall whilst canceling this 4th base, really cool. Oh, the 4th base, it starts, these Zerglings can wrap around it and instantaneously kill it, so that no cancel is possible. Cancel does occur. Fast fingers here on Harstem. And more links are coming out. We see an infestation pit. We see Ravagers and Roaches coming out. Ooh, lovely days. We see +2 melee coming out as well. So Ling Ravager with some Roaches and Binglings. I love that composition. It's cool. We used to see it a lot. Like a lot of Ravagers with a lot of Lingbane and Roaches. Just, you know, Roaches. Hive starts right away, so we're probably going to see super fast Adrenoglands per chance, even an Ultralisk down. I would love fast Ultralisks. I love a lot about this. I love it. I just love it, guys. Do have an infestation pit here. A little sad that we don't see like 2 cheeky infestors. Get some burrow, get them in the main. Fungal, 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 fungal. Kill the whole mineral line. There is no detection here, is there? I don't see any. Oh, there's cannons now, but you could still sneak in from the left. Just go. Fungal, fungal. It's kind of like a DT rush, but it's with fungals. That was so cool when fungal used to be castable from a burrowed infestor. It's actually not that cool, but it was fun to play with as a Zerg. I've already told the story before, but I once played in a tournament. I think it was a Thermi Cup, and I think it might have been like Thermi Cup 1. It was online at least, and I was playing versus Sparky Pants, may his soul rest in peace. And I think we were 1-1, or I don't know. We were playing a Zerg versus Zerg, and I was going Muta, as I usually try to do at least once in a series. And he was not going Muta, right? He had Roaches, he had Queens, and so at some point he could have Infestors. And my Mutas were clumped, and they were harassing his 3rd or 4th base, and then he pauses, and he's like, is the patch live? Because there would be a patch that would fix it, basically, or nerf it again. Remove the burrow casting from the Infestor. Oh my god, so many Lings here trying to get a trade, but these Roaches and Ravagers not getting through, so Harstem getting a decent trade there with only the Ling portion of the army of soO. I think that favors Harstem. But what I was saying, like, so mid-series, basically the game got patched, and he was relying on... Oh, look at these Banelings ready to receive the Zealots. Probably more so thinking about probes, but... And so, mid-game, or mid-series, suddenly his Infestors could not cast Fungal whilst burrowed, and so he unpaused, and I immediately spread my Mutas. Because I knew the Infestors must be close, he must have been trying to Fungal me. And then his Infestors unburrow, I press, like, hold position, they instantaneously one-shot one of them, and he gets, like, 1 Fungal, and then 2 or 3 Infestors just die. And, you know, from there, the game's pretty easy. That was the day where Lurkers were so good that you used to go 2-base Muta into Lurker, and then you would take a 3rd base. It was so dumb. Like, you would take, like, hidden bases before trying to even defend a 3rd base. I loved it, of course, but it was quite dumb. Oh, that's a lot of Ling Bane here, ready to do a run-by. They will go through the rocks here. There are no stasis wards. There is a sentry with a potential force field. These Zealots, this Warp Prism doing a lot of damage. These Banelings rolling on in. And there is... Oh my god, there was a force field. There were 2 Stalkers. And Harstem just holds that off brilliantly. Does lose a Pylon and a couple gas probes. Like 4 probes, that's completely fine. Can just rebuild that. That was clutch. The double Stalker and the force field warp in. Whew. My man Harstem on point now. Gets a 5th base up and running. It's almost max. Another Baneling run by. Just runs into the meat grinder. And all of a sudden, soO's army's not looking so hot. I like that he's still going for the Ling Bane type stuff, but he's making a lot of Banelings that aren't being efficient at all. Trying to get probe kills here. I think Harstem would even welcome a couple probe kills at this point. Just have a bigger army. And look at that. Harstem just moves on in. He's like, you have a 5th base, I have a 5th base. Only one of us can really have a 5th base. There can be only one. Oh my god, the Baneling run by this time around did work out. 12 probes do die. But Harstem already up to a bunch of Nexi. And he's rebuilding the probes. I was even talking to a Protoss player like 3 to 4 years ago, theorizing that a 4th Nexus could also just be like somewhere. It doesn't really have to be a 4th base, just help you wall something off, just for the extra probe production, because the +2 Baneling still one-shot probes, and it was just an inevitability that at some point you were gonna lose some probes. So the meta was just to overmake probes. I guess if you really want to be big brain, then you just start like long distance mining another base to have like 10 more probes active. But yeah, that was kind of a thing. You just had to consistently make probes. I want to refer to Mixu versus Shadone, which is a match that I cast like half a year ago at least. So my casting is a little worse, but I very vividly remember Mixu just Baneling run-buying especially the shit out of Shadone in that series. And that Shadone was so on point with just remaking his probes over and over and over. And that was really like a defining skill for CVP at that moment. Now the Broodlords have been revealed. One High Templar doesn't throw out all of his storms, just one into death. Harstem probably clicked Storm on a hotkey with High Templar and then pulled away his army, and the High Templar was still queued up to go do it. Oh, there come the Broodlings. Boom. One High Templar instantaneously implodes. Yeah, we need the full zoom out for this one. We don't care about the frames. We just want to see all the units, and the 5th base for Harstem now has been denied. So again, these players both just making sure that the opponent doesn't get a 5th base unpunished. soO actually up to 6 now with a golden base. Oh, Harstem. This is looking pretty rough. 200 supply for soO as well. I guess his upgrades aren't like the greatest, but Harstem also doesn't have like the best upgrades. Tempest are coming out, and those are pretty good against Broodlords. That was their original design intent. Revelation onto the Broodlord, so they can be seen now by Harstem. He knows where they are.
Vespene guys are exhausted.
And the Vespene guys are from the main of Harstem. It does deplete. Harstem does not have any money, but he has a ginormous army. 150 army supply. Nothing to scoff at, only 50 probes, but it's enough. And a part of Harstem's army gets completely enveloped there by the army of soO. And the Broodlords getting sniped by the Tempest. Bunch of Corruptors are starting up, but Harstem is getting a lot of free kills on these Broodlords before the Corruptors even arrive. Nice Tempest switch. Getting a lot of value there. The Roach is not having a fun time against these Immortals and Archons. soO just having to kite back here. Nice shots with the Broodlords. Every time the Broodlords shoot, they do kind of kill a unit. That's pretty impressive. That's good for a Broodlord, right? It's not very good if it's Swarmhost. Swarmhost needs to, like, kill half an army. Oh my god, another storm going down. We have a decent amount of High Templar here. Reinforcements coming out for Harstem. And he has a bunch of Stalkers in this army, which are just reinforcing units only. 4 Ultralisks coming out. Oh my god, big storm on the army here for soO. The Broodlords are shelling the army, but not enough Corruptors here to deal with the Tempest. The ground army has been dealt with. The blink in. Not a lot of Broodlords. The Ultralisks are now just trickling in. 7 more Ultralisks in the production tab. soO being forced to fight there a little early. Sorry about that. And now Harstem is in his supply line. He's on his center. And I don't know if soO can center himself, if he can calm down and just make units. 10 Ultralisks underway. So soO's trying to do the same thing he did in game number 2. Avoid, evade, and eventually have a lot of Ultralisks and give your opponent a bear hug. Give that Protoss Death Ball a bear hug. These Lings and Ultralisks get a decent trade there, but only for gateway units. These Immortals and Archons still going strong. More Ultralisks and Lings coming from every side of the map. And Harstem just being inside of the rally points of soO's units. It's really, really hard as a Zerg player to make sure that all of your units don't run into the army. Like, you have to, like, individually set all of your rallies and then not hotkey your eggs right away. Kind of play like a Terran player. Like, just box your units and then put them in the army. Or, like, have to specifically make them from certain hatcheries, which is kind of like Brood War, I guess. It's not a skill that StarCraft 2 Zergs get rewarded for all that often, and we have somewhat of a base race here. Harstem, no 4th base, only 3 bases here. And we saw a recall happening, and now soO has to get the hell out of here. These Lings could stay behind and kill that base. Some of them are staying behind, killing the pylon. These Cracklings +3 with the attack speed upgrade are doing a lot of work here. Oh my god, part of the army of Harstem gets found out, but these Tempest, oh my god, they get so many free shots here onto the units and on the Corruptors, more importantly. Both sides losing all of their workers. A couple units here from Harstem killing the rest of the economy from soO. And soO does have a lot more mining than Harstem, but what do you do against these 4 Tempest? How many Corruptors are here? 6 Corruptors, and no more are underway. I don't see any Queens either. I feel like the Tempests are the problem here. If the Archons and the Stalkers just kill the Corruptors here, oh my god, that's so many Ultralisks, though. They are barreling down on this army from Harstem. The Immortals get the shots on the Ultralisks. Slowly but surely. Oh my god. What? Oh my god, all of the Ultralisks, they get killed. Not enough Ling reinforcements. The Tempest actually got dealt with, but still 5 Immortals. An Archon now joins the fray as well. Another one coming in. And Harstem literally does not have anything going for him. He has no mining. 11 probes. I don't even know where they are. Half of them aren't doing anything. Harstem is just feverishly trying to stop soO from mining and making more units. And soO only making Zerglings here. Doesn't have any money. And soO might just... Oh, he has a couple more Ultras. He has the Spines. He could reroute a couple of them, but... Oh my god, he fights away from one of his Spines. Not too bad. I think he has a Greater Spire. He does, but he didn't make any Broodlords. I think that would have been best if he made Broodlords, like, at his natural. But he didn't. And now, 1 Stalker, 2 Archons, all the anti-air. And more Lings are being made, perhaps for a base race type attempt. But soO, you can make Broodlords here. Harstem is really broke. Look at all these probes. Dude, what is this game? What is this game? I just picked it because I want to see how Harstem and soO did in the open bracket. I didn't know this was crazy like this. I mean, most of these games weren't casted, so... What? The ever-living fuck. What is this? So many Zerglings, and soO's just spamming the Zergling key, not thinking about Broodlords. Just wants to kill these last few units. Nice surface area there for Harstem. This 1 Archon is gonna kill them all. And the Cracklings do get cleaned up. This 1 Archon almost died there. And still, just more Zerglings being created here. But he's not doing anything across the map either. If he had, like, those 40 Lings just run in, kill the last couple probes. Like... Oh no, soO! Has Harstem done it? He's literally mining from 2 patches total. soO had more mining. He had 3 arrows going downwards. That means Giga outmining. Not just regular outmining, like Giga, Omega outmining. The drones are pulled off the line as well. The Corruptors are there just to take a shot maybe. Oh no, the Archon doesn't even try and target the Corruptors. And Harstem takes the game number 3? This was a weird ending of this game. Both players fighting till the last drop. Still scouting for additional bases. Dude, Harstem, well deserved. And soO, what a fighter, dude. All of soO's games are just crazy. soO came here to play StarCraft, and he delivered all right. Guys, thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this so very much. Be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.